Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's currently 5 o'clock. It's so weird. I've always streamed at like a 30. So instead of saying like 5:30, 5. That just doesn't have the same cadence. Regardless, I hope you guys have had a wonderful day up until now. Now you have to watch a Kavel stream, so we'll see how that goes. But without any further ado, I forgot how to set the timer. What button? That button, that button, this button, this button. Oh, boom. We have it. No doubt in my mind. To quote the amazing King Gizzard, look at that. Look at that camera quality. Look at that lighting. Look at those colors on my hand, which are weirdly a little bit orange. Yeah, so I hope you're all having an amazing Thursday. We've got Friday tomorrow. Heck yeah. That's typically how it goes. I felt myself a little bit, not dreading, but like, streaming is a chore. But I have a feeling that that's going to change. It's just because I haven't, oh goodness. I haven't done it in so long. The setup is relatively simple, and I enjoy streaming, just maybe it's the setup that bothers me. Oh my goodness, and these pages are slippering, so maybe that bothers me as well. I have a lot of, I need to not only like retrain my drawing skills, or I should say my fine liner skills, because it's been a minute, but also my speaking skills. I feel much could be improved there, and also keeping my drawing in the center of the table. The camera doesn't reach as far as I wish. There's not really a great way of fixing that, I don't think. Unless I had the camera behind me, but then that'd be a huge issue. The camera, because I'd like run into it, or it's just in the middle of my room. I have a very cramped setup. I like it a lot. It's actually very ergonomic, but the only difference with these streams now is I have to move a lamp before I start streaming. I could keep it right next to my bed, but I don't know. I'm not too fond of having a soft light box just blocking like the main way I get into bed. Yeah, today was a pretty good day. In fact, I'm trying to recruit people for my group's capstone. Like, I'm turning on the sales mode. I've never been in sales or engaged with that or anything, but I'm just trying to sell people, tell them a story. I'm being honest though, I'm like, hey, it's going to be a lot of work. But it's going to be good work with people who care. And it's going to be cool as hell. I can't talk about it yet on stream, I don't think. I want to. I'm going to wait until like it gets off the road. Gets off the road? I don't know. It starts happening, and then we'll worry about it. I forgot, every time I start stream, I feel like I have like phlegm in the back of my throat, or like I need to blow my nose. I don't know why that always happens. I was feeling like fine before this year, right? One day I'm gonna forget to mute myself, and I'm going to make horrible noises on stream. But yeah, one thing I briefly mentioned yesterday in my huge art rant that I wanted to, it was like one of the big things I wanted to talk about more thoroughly, was how imposing Lesson 6 feels. As a person who doesn't really care about, like, I'm not going to be doing drawings often. I don't plan on doing drawings often with the techniques presented in Lesson 6. Not that Lesson 6 has nothing to teach me, or I won't use other concepts in it. Like, I've actually used subdivision outside of it. I can't remember where. I think it was for the little gravel plane prompt for the promptathon. Dream vehicle, I think. Anyways. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, I think I did talk about this thoroughly. I had like 3 points, and it was like, I don't care about it that much. Yeah, so never mind, I did talk about this bit. Well, it's still in my head. I'm not sure when we're going to return to Lesson 6. It won't be too long, no more than a week. In fact, I just made the schedule for next week, and I can imagine us maybe Friday starting it. Back up again. I do want time to like explore 50% more, and refine my penmanship skills. It's been a second. Not that they've gone too far off the deep end, but it's been a while since I've done these exercises. I've done other exercises. Yeah, my subdivision is good for scene planning when you want to gauge consistency of an object and perspective. What's up, MCal, first of all? Hello, hope you're having a great day so far. And yeah, I think I like for more complicated things, I draw boxes around my characters, and then I basically just kind of don't use the box at all. But I should, and I feel like subdividing a box for a person and like having that depends on the box being like the ratio of a human body, but beauty of the bounding box, yeah, for sure. What I used it on something though. I can't remember what it was. Like I used like the thirds because like I've mentally just like now caught on to like making thirds and I think even fifths. Like memorized it vicariously without thinking about it too much. But hey, we're gonna be drawing some simple gravel stuff today. I am upset with how we did it yesterday. I should have actually done a bounding box for that one. Given the perspective I wanted the camera to be relative to gravel, but we'll deal. I'm not gonna erase it because I was thinking about it earlier today while I was at the gym, and I was like, do I erase it? Do I keep it the same? Do I adjust it? Do I start a new page? And I said no to all of those except for the keep it the same one because like who cares? I learned my lesson. I'll do it better next time. Doing it again sure could like hammer in the lesson more, but I'm wasting pages of that sketchbook for no reason. I could erase it, but no, I'm not doing all that. It's there. Now, iterative drawing is good. Dasin, I always forget how to pronounce his name. I just call him Das. He's a huge proponent of that, and I agree. It's a great thing. But it's exceptionally harder to do it non-digitally, even though you could do printouts, but I don't care that much. When I get digital, of course, I'll be doing iterative drawing like there's no tomorrow. But yeah. For now, we'll keep it simple. The new frame rate on this camera is kind of bugging me because I look back and it's 30 foops. I'm so used to 60 foops. Real deal. This is such an epic song. Yeah, today was rather good. Lots of I actually had like a really rough moment last night because I wasn't streaming or like I streamed already. I got food very quickly and I was just sitting there. I was like, well, I don't have any homework to do. I'm doing one of my classes 2 times faster just to get it out of the way. And even then, right? In fact, I was doing a quiz right before stream. Yeah, other than that, I mean, very simple day. I woke up way too late. I'm still adjusting my sleep schedule, which has led to some very groggy mornings and relatively tired afternoons. I meant to set an alarm on my phone for 10 p.m. as my like hard cutoff, stop everything, and make sure like I shower and go to bed, right? I kind of like almost don't like streaming this early because what I used to do is like I'd stream at the end of the day, and once I'm done streaming, I could go to bed. But now I go back to schoolwork. Does that make me upset? Not really. In fact, given the fact that I'll have many late nights this semester, that's maybe even an advantage because I'll have a break and then get back to it. But still. Yo, Naya, what's up? Welcome back. Was the degree computer science with an emphasis in cybersecurity? I like writing code. I like writing code. I was originally going to be mechanical, and once I realized I mean, all engineering is dealing with people, but like half of mechanical is not what I wanted to do, right? And I understand half of coding is writing documentation. That's not beyond me, but I don't know. Coding is more you're there. Like to make a successful thing with coding, I feel like is easier than mechanical because with code, all you need is a keyboard and a computer in your brain. Mechanical engineering, you need CAD software, and that's only the design. The late night major, along with other engineering. Yep. I hear architects have it pretty bad too, especially during their Gosh, I would call it a lab, but I can't remember what they name those classes. I don't know why I'm blanking on it right now. A little bit bumpy. I've been okay. It's been bumpy. I just said bumpy, that's weird. I was studying abroad, so I was away for a bit. We're back now. I need to hold my paper up higher. Final semester of college. So that's happening. It's happening rather quickly. I need to apply for graduation. I keep forgetting. But yeah, we're moving. How about you? Feel like I'm too tense. I need to loosen up with some of those ellipses. I'm not too fond of them. Where were you? I just finished all the demos. And we were starting a new one, and then I messaged the Discord a bit because a viewer said, hey, are you supposed to be doing it digitally? Like, I was subdividing things digitally. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually not sure. And Canoe said there's no rule against it, but they recommended that we don't use digital tools and just subdivide via brain, via visual. I said, okay, so we kind of restarted on that one. And that was right. I never finished that one before I left, so. We're at the very beginnings, or not the very beginnings. We did form intersections, but. I remember a while ago I was really stressing about studying abroad because I didn't want to stop streaming, which I know sounds stupid. Of course, I do not regret studying abroad at all. Maybe financially. But I was peeved at the fact. Everything Drawbox, other than treasure chest, I think is meant to be done at physical/traditional, yep. Well, I mean, I wasn't doing it digitally, I was breaking it down digitally, though. So I was doing, like, a mock-up with it, which, I mean, honestly, I would argue that it's fine to, like, let's say you have an object, right, like this, and you write down the, like, you know, proportions, like this is maybe an eighth in or something, and, like, this like, maybe an extra third long, right? This is a third. So like writing that down digitally, I don't think matters, but like taking a picture and then like doing the subdivision on top of it, I feel like that undermines it a bit after what the conversation I had with Canoe and a bit of thinking. Because like I did a lot of drawovers for lesson 5. They didn't hurt me a ton, but I definitely suffered by doing that. So the tail end of lesson 5, I strayed away from doing it. Yeah, and I mean, I still probably could do Drawbox and do it digitally, but yeah, like Canoe, if Canoe's gonna recommend it, and even though it would be much easier on my brain, we have a decision to make. Instead, Prokopenko said it's about making those hard decisions. Now, of course, shooting yourself in the foot and making Drawbox harder by like doing it with one-handed, with a blindfold, listening to Mozart in one ear and the Mandarin in the other. Yeah, that's not worth it. That's not going to help you. I've been finding people being time to time haven't been able to draw all. I'm sorry to hear. I can resonate with the no time to draw. I hope you find that time. And in terms of art block, I don't think I've ever had like art block. Not that I've run out of things, haven't ever run out of things to draw or struggled to draw, just finding a character that you're super comfortable with and kind of tackling that, just like draw them doing something. Like whatever you're doing. Oh, you have exams? Oh my goodness. Well, I wish you best of luck. And yeah, exam periods, definitely, there's a lack of drawing on my end as well. I hope you do well in those exams, and I hope you're able to recoup the lost time for drawing in that period. Slowly finding my rhythm again. Another way to make drawbox harder for no reason is to freehand the wheel challenge. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that sounds rough. Heck, I mean, not using, if you don't have access to French curves, I feel like that'd make, I mean, I haven't struggled a lot without French curves in lesson 6, but, and it's not like your work will be worse without them, but it definitely helps. So yeah, I guess it wouldn't be shooting yourself in the leg to not use them, unless you had them. Anyways, cool. So good warm up, everybody. We're gonna do 2-minute ad break. You know the deal. In that meantime, we're gonna return. We're gonna continue our little Gravel comic, and maybe we'll even finish today. Who knows? And yeah, so be right back. Cool. Welcome back, everybody. We got our gravel drawing to work on. We'll do. I'm forgetting my binds. What's my hour button? Is that my hour button? Dude, wow. I usually like muscle memory it. How am I breaking, like, what? Here, wait. How am I not remembering my binds? Oh, it is that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so how I control the stream, everybody, for those who don't know, I bought this. I have a newer one with more keys that I need to program, but I have a C++ or C# program. No, yeah, C# program that snipes the input from this and then does things. Now, as you'll see, I don't have a lot of buttons. So like to control the timer, you select the time that you want, either the start stream timer, 10 minutes or an hour. This resets the timer. This starts and this stops it. So like, toggle the timer, then set 10 minutes, set 1, and like you can't, if it's playing, it'll get like finicky if you try to reset it, right? So It's cool. It's neat. I definitely love it a lot more than using my actual keyboard, but you know. Anyways, cool. Let's get started. So, yeah, we're working on our little Gravel comic. He's working on the table right now. A particular Puma person is going to annoy him. I changed the script of this comic last night while on the toilet in my head. Because I didn't want this comic to be like kind of angsty. It's like, why do you never smile? And it's like, oh, life's too miserable. I hate life. Like, I don't want it to feel like that. And in the same way, I don't want it to be like, oh, Gravel's ugly, that's why he does it. Or like, not really. So I'm changing the comic. Instead of being like, hey, Gravel, why don't you smile more? And then it shows that. It's gonna be, hey, Gravel, do birds just not smile? Why not? Or like something. Or like, you know, relocating it to all birds instead of just Gravel. Or like facial expressions, because I feel like smiling, the lack of smiling implies upset, right? Which is not the case for Gravel. So yeah, like, I guess, hey, Gravel, why don't you make any expressions? Smile, but the smiling, I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. The text is typically the last thing we write. Okay, a person's going to be waving from off the edge. Would it be right or left hand? How long am I streaming for tonight? Our streams are usually about an hour and a half, so we'll be streaming probably till 6:30 p.m. Central Time, or basically until this timer runs out-ish. Maybe a bit later, but yeah, probably for at least an hour, maybe a little bit more. We'll see how I'm feeling. I do have other stuff to do tonight, quite a bit actually, so we'll see what comes of it. All right. So if a person was waving, would they be waving with their right hand or left hand? And we'll be seeing the back of the hand, which is rather easy, or not easy to draw, but like easier to... I don't know how to draw the hand like right here. Right? Yeah, I think right hand is really good from where it's being viewed. Now how, because if it was flat, then with or like if we drew the hand flat like this on the page, right? Then they would be waving it at the ground instead of at Gravel, given the perspective. So we want it aimed up. And I also want it aimed up and lower, because if it was like right here in the frame, then it would imply whoever's waving is like crazy tall compared to Gravel. And that would be a huge issue because Gravel's already like looking startled. So I don't want like the first frame to read as like someone's waving at Gravel and Gravel's startled because, you know, they're tall and they're scary and imposing, but no, they're just surprising him. And I also need to leave room for a speech bubble. So I think if we occupy this space down here, wow, that's a lot more mess than I expected. If we occupy this space down there, we'll probably be good. Mucked up the page though, yikes. And we could also like overlay the right hand. So if I was gonna wave at someone, my thumb would be slightly forward, right? So I like starting hands with defining this as a line and then going and down to here. So it's like a two plane. We have like a triangular plane right here and then a rectangular plane right here that kind of bends. Both of them bend quite a bit. It's gonna have to be rather small. I hate drawing small. And actually, this is gonna be very low on the page because that's just where the fingers join the palm. So, do you know how to put up a ring light? I just got one, but you're gonna start streaming your art? Yes. Didn't you mention this a bit ago? I could be forgetting. Setting up a ring light. I mean, I would recommend. Okay, so for art, you don't want light going straight down onto your hands because then you're going to project a shadow, kind of like I am. So the rule of thumb I've heard is you want the light to be 45 degrees angled against your streaming surface. So, you know, pretend this is your drawing table, right? We'll hold it like this. Pretend this is your table, right? And here's the direction of your camera. You want it to be like 45 degrees. So you will still cast a shadow, but it'll get onto the page. I have a light pointing at me from that direction at 45 degrees relative to my angled table, and one right here to up here. And this ensures there's both sides. I also have a lamp. I like the lamp. And then none behind me, because I don't want to cast my own shadow onto this. Now you'll notice that my shadows are relatively soft because they're so close. So for a ring light, I wouldn't recommend it putting, like, you know how they're like go around the camera? I wouldn't recommend that for drawing. I would put it in front of you at a 45-degree angle relative to the table that you're drawing on. Because that means if your arm is hovering above it, the shadow will cast towards you and won't block any of the page. And make sure it's a little bit higher too, and not too close. And then make sure for the ring light, if it has settings, I would recommend using a cold setting, like a more bluish light. Because warm lights typically don't pick up well on most cameras. If you're using your phone, I'm not sure how it would look. But I'd still recommend using a colder one, because that goes well with the white paper, if you're drawing on white paper. That's Kavel's masterclass in lighting, even though I literally know nothing about lighting. All of this is just self-taught Googling, so if you figure out any or have any opinions, please let me know. In terms of putting up the ring light, I recommend getting a stand. Now, that's not necessarily cheap, but it's the best way to do it. If you can clip it onto your table, that'd be great. A lot of ring lights come with clips like that. Well, I have a phone, I'm gonna stream it, and then on my iPad, I'm gonna try to watch it from there to make sure it looks good. Cool, yeah, Are you planning on streaming on Twitch? I would highly recommend starting streaming on Twitch. Sorry, I'm practicing like how to wave at somebody. Twitch huge. So that'll be an easier experience, and they have great moderation stuff from other devices. Not the best, but better than YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. And this is looking a bit flat. So we're going to define some contour lines for the fingers. Middle finger's right there. That's going to be the tallest. I love long and lanky and gangly hands, so we may have some of that here. The thumb kind of comes out and back at us. See if it's coming out and back at us from right here. See, this is the branches exercise. I'm not gonna say underrated, as if like people don't like it or like it's people don't talk about it. But man, the branches exercise is so good. I actually know organic. One of the two. They're great. I love them. I think everyone should do them like all the time. Branches does suck though because it doesn't look pretty at all. Like no one's hand is steady enough to do that one and make it look good. But it is. See, from this angle, we could do like a really dynamic angle. Ooh, let's do that. Hee oh frick. Yeah, like learning how degrees twist and turn throughout space is epic sauce. I love it, I love it, I love it. Pivotal towards constructional drawing. There's any favorite? No, probably my favorite exercise from Drawbox is the rotated boxes, the one where you make like the orb or whatever of it. That one's great. And then organic intersections. Like if there was a exercise that no. If there was an exercise I like could only do one of for the rest of my life, it would be one of those two. Just with rotating boxes, I feel like you miss out on degrees, right? Or like ellipse degrees, because I mean you're still changing the degree of the face of the plane, right? It's just not elliptical. And like you don't get much intersection there, but I feel like that one capitalizes on most the fundamental drawing concepts that you need. What do I know? I'm an art baby. How long have we been streaming? 2 years? I think we hit the 2-year mark recently. That's epic. So I'm an art baby of 2.5 years old. Do I feel a little bit of angst about streaming this long and taking this long with Drawbox? Yes. Do I care though? Will I beat myself up for that? Not at all. Because I think it was Canoe who made a big post that I haven't read about like it's okay to not do Drawbox in a year, right? And I can excuse myself given that I'm a person who's first of all streaming it, which just streaming art I think does take longer because I'm chatting and whatever. I've only relocated an hour of a day, and I'm in college and working and whatever, so I won't beat myself up over that at all. And plus, I don't think like it's your improvement in art isn't linear when it comes to Drawbox, if that makes sense. Or like, just because you hit lesson 2 does not mean you're a standard amount better than when you were with lesson 1, right? You have to actually put these into practice and use them beyond just the exercises that you get, and then do the exercises more and more. So I've just had a lot more time to sit on these exercises, and that has made me do some really cool like intermediary art, Drawbox intermediary art, which just means like art done in the process of pursuing Drawbox. Fingers are long, man. What the hell? No, I know. It's gonna be like this. Yeah, we've been like a knuckle right here. And knuckle right here. I'm laying out the knuckles. I'm not going to obey a lot of this, or like do a ton to capitalize on the fact that I've laid out the knuckles and stuff here. I just want to have a good structure, but I'll probably represent them in a way that doesn't like make them super 3D. Honestly, from this angle, we're going to see the interior of the thumb right here. Because yeah, we're going to see like the edge of the palm right here. Some gangly hands. This is the Puma guy. So technically doesn't need as gangly as the hands as I draw for Gravel because he's a bird, so they have those like wicked, nasty feet. And then Pinky is much shorter. And I love characters with claws, like the humanoid hands, but they have claws. Because there's so many ways to go about it. Like sometimes people put like pads on the hands, or whatever it may be. I love it when music has that little trill. I don't know what it's called with the violins or the strings. It's so nice. I think actually I added this song to the list. Oh, maybe not. This is a different song than I thought it was. What is his name? He worked on the game Only If, which don't play that game. It's kind of weird. It's a good game, but weird subject matter. But he made a guy. It's like very prototypical Western name, so that's why I'm not remembering it. I want to say like not Scott Robertson, but it's along those lines. And which is probably why like I'm struggling to remember it. That thumb's in a weird position. But yeah, he has those like trilling instruments and one song called "The Park," which that song has been in my head for like over a decade now. Whoa, that's a big thumb. Whoa. Speaking of songs that are always stuck in my head, thumb is too high, too big. Why is the thumb giving me the most trouble? I thought like everything else would. I have like this kind of negative shape, so frick. Lots of searching lines right now. Not particularly a great thing, but one thing that I really tried to focus on, and I hate using this word because it's been kind of memed a bit. Um, so I'll try to find a different word for it. But whenever I was in Singapore, because I had to draw in some really unique places, uh, in terms of like them being busy or chaotic or whatever, um, getting into a state where I'm very absorbed in the work that I'm doing, not letting like things both external or internal, like thinking about like projects or school or whatever, right? Distract me. That was a goal, and I accomplished it in many instances, but it was a tough one. There's oh yeah, there's that style of like doing hands, animalistic nails on hands, where it's like the actual like they have those like little inserts for the nails. I don't know what they're called. I don't like that though. I like it more fingernail like. Yeah, but that does introduce some issues because like if you do it just like a fingernail, then it's a very wide form, and that kind of looks weird. Like you wouldn't have a nail that wide and sharp. It looks like a knife almost glued to the end of their fingertip. Welcome back. My biggest, I just remembered, my biggest recommendation if you follow through with oh, stretch will do that. My biggest recommendation for if you follow through with streaming is remember why you're doing this in the first place. Right? I don't regret streaming, but streaming is distracting. You're gonna lose focus. You have to deal with people in chat. I don't mean deal with like it's a chore, but if people join, talk to them, right? That's what you're streaming in the first place, is to engage with people and to offer commentary. I mean, ideally, people will just join the stream because your work is so perfect and beautiful that they're just here to gaze at it as you work. But sadly, for many of us, that's not the case. However, your work could be amazing. But yeah, so just be prepared, right? You're no longer just an artist if you start streaming. You're an artist and a streamer, and those require sometimes different tasks. I'm not going to call them chores, right? But like you have to do different things. I think a good example of what I'm talking about is PCAT. PCAT mentioned she's an art YouTuber, so she does a lot more YouTube than she does art. Whenever I have to make videos, I do a lot more video and script editing than that. And you learn how to talk to people with my voice on stream. I'm shy. I totally get that. But hey, the best thing about streaming is I've become much better at speaking. To the report of my family, who's known me throughout my whole life, but also others. They said, you're a good speaker. I was like, I never really was. Anyways, I'll stretch real quick, take a sip of water too while I'm at it. Also, can you guys hear the little bird chirp whenever notifications come through? It may be a bit too quiet. I don't know. Don't think so? Darn. Okay, well, we'll deal with that sometime in the future. I don't like the nails. They are bothering me. Maybe this is a Pinterest inspiration lookup type beat. I'm sure there's plenty of furries. I'm not sure if it's just furries, but at least I know furries have tons of drawing tutorials. They're not gatekeepy at all with that stuff. So there's probably a hand tutorial out there. Not necessarily for hands, but for decorating hands and that aesthetic and that style, I guess. I don't know. How do you comic your comic? What does that mean? Trying to work more on your art? Aren't we all? How do I comic my comic? How do I make it comical? I don't know. I don't think any of these I'd consider comical. For the comic that I want to make, I haven't done much with it. I've just been thinking and doing light sketches here and there of characters and things I want to happen. But most of it, I'm focusing on story before most of the stuff. Oh, for that, okay. Kind of just off the dome. We all read left to right in the US and Western comics. Top to down, bottom. I am under I've never taken a conventional comic making class or anything, so this is just kind of looking at things. You have the subject, the main thing you want to look at. And so I always make sure that's clear and that's the first thing I draw. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about it. Who knows? I find it very important to have very dynamic angles for some parts, just for the fun of it. I like how it looks. To convey what I want is interesting because I don't. Each panel has a purpose, right? And so you should only do things in alignment with that purpose. If you want to show off how good a character looks, then why put things in front of them or hide it with text, right? If you want to build anticipation with something, then have multiple panels, small changes, and less detail, because you don't want multiple panels with like high detail, because that draws the eye to that too much, right? If you have something like that's rather unimportant, then don't draw too much attention to it. Smaller panel, make it in between, not much text, stuff like that. So I don't have any, sadly, like good words of wisdom, other than just the core tenet of, don't break the rules and the reasoning why you have something on there, right? So for this one, I wanted Gravel to be surprised. So what would make something surprised? Well, he's jumping, his shoulders are up. I'll have some action lines to show that. Exclamation point, his eyes turned back towards the person waving at him, so his attention was caught. Whenever I do the text on here, it's going to say yo in big letters, Kavel, or Gravel, whatever his name is. Right? Like a little like indicators next to his pencil that it broke because he was so surprised. And I also feel like, and this was accidental, but the way I imagined the scene is like it's coming from behind Gravel, so he's clearly working, so something would surprise him if it was from behind, right? For this one, it's going to be the text bubbles coming from over here with Gravel looking back. Just more room for text and to establish to work with the page, because I don't have much room. Like these are, I have this division, so I need to use this room. I could have done shorter if I wanted to, but meh. And it's a good way of obscuring the Puma character, because like I said, we don't have a design for him yet. And then like the big thing right here, we'll have a lot of room for it. Grackle heads are very long, their beaks are quite long. So we have enough room for that. So yeah, that was my thought process. I'm not sure if you could glean any like testaments towards comic making from that. But that's at least my thought process for one instance of how I draw comics. I would like to do more. Ow! I would like to do more comics. It's just they take some work. Speaking of, I was gonna look up Pinterest. Oh, almost knocked over my microphone stand. Nice. Let's go to Pinterest and ask the furries on how to draw this. Helps reinforce what to consider. Something I need a lot of. We all need as much. None of us work in a vacuum, to quote The Uncomfortable. Okay, what if I do... Oh, there's... well, why do I even need to Google whenever I have one of my favorite artists, Jay Cinto, on the front page of Pinterest? They don't have any close-ups of their hands totally, but here, I'll pure ref this. One of my favorite artists, very close to Turan Fiddler, is Jay Cinto. They do great character design. I guess I need to make this smaller, don't I? Here we go. Get that going over here. Nice. So yeah, Jay Cinto. Look at this. And yeah, this was on the front page of my PureRef, and look at those hands. How did he do it? He's doing like the kind of more traditional, more realistic nails right here. I also like this slight... oh my gosh, we had a word for it. I always called these obfuscated lines, but like a hard line, indicating that form is in the front for the knuckle. And there's something, I mean, if we need a paw reference, there you go. And yeah, look, the nails on the paws here follow similar with how we did it over there, sadly. We don't have too much to work with. This, oh yeah, so this kind of has like this curved inset, and then it comes out of that. And you're like, Kavel, you want to draw animalistic hands, why don't you use animals as a reference? I guess I should. I don't know, I wanted a more... Yeah, anyways, Puma paw. They have big paws. Oh yeah, they do. Huh, so that's not too helpful. They got the big ol'... Oh, look at this picture. This is a good picture. Look at this guy. Furry community for expressive non-humans. True. Very true. You don't really see claws right there. If we do Puma claws. There we go. This is perfect. Bye. Sorry. Gotta hide that one because it's not really relevant. But so yeah, what kind of shape do we have here? So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like it's this thing and then it comes out. So maybe we could do something with that. I was hoping for something more humanoid though, hence why I looked up other stuff. So we're gonna do furry hand, I guess. To find something that makes sense to me. This person follows, and I'm gonna, as per usual, guys, after the stream, if you check the YouTube description, I will try to find the original artists of any art that I pull here. This Winter Mare, I'm hoping 2025. But yeah, look at this, like this kind of type beat going on here. They just did like little, I guess that's probably the best way to go about it. More Wintermare. Okay, I'm seeing Wintermare everywhere, so I guess they're the authority on hands. I actually quite like this. It's very sketchy, but I do appreciate this. So yeah, stuff like that. It's kind of the ideal. A couple of these that I'm seeing, they're actually like trimmed, which is cool. They're actually quite large too. Now that I see it, quite long. So we'll go consider that. This is also one of those where they added the pads on the back too, which I'm not opposed to. Or the pads on the front, I guess, with the finger. How did they do the thumb? The thumb is much larger than the others, and I guess that makes sense because, like, you know, they don't have thumbs; they have that like little extra finger. I mean, not extra; they have the same amount. You know what I mean? It's like higher on the paw. It's like right up here instead of right here. And also, I should do a sharpen so I can get a little bit more in there with my my pencil. I love these pencils so much. I actually bought a bunch of new blue pencils, so we should experiment with those because these are $5 each. So I would much rather find an alternative that is not as expensive. And I found all the ones that I bought are very cheap, so I hope they offer a similar experience, if not the same or better. Because yeah, these $5 ones are not that sustainable. Financially, that is. I'm not sure about the other stuff. They're from Switzerland. They're a Caran d'Arc or something. I don't know. That needs to be a lot more forward. MCal, what is I've probably had this conversation with you before, and I apologize for forgetting. But what is something you would like to, or like more immediately in the future, what is a project, like an art thing, art-wise, that you'd like to pursue? Like something that you're like, holy crap, I want to do this. Your favorite subject matter or such. And I apologize if I'm interrupting you when you're trying to focus. You do not need to respond if that is the case. That 10-volume graphic novel, yes. Start working on that when I'm not doing my music or work. Huge. What is like the reasoning behind 10 volumes? Is there like a specific, not that there's like no reason behind it or you have to have a reason. I'm just curious, like what like is the entire story written? And that's why it's 10, or just like you want, that's the generally how much you would like to write for that. For a different continent. Okay, gotcha. It's a good way to organize it. I feel like I'm doing too much for that part. Sure works on that framework because they're traveling the planet to restore its defense. Ah, I see. That just predicates on the fact that each place takes a volume's worth of defense fixing. Slowly trying to like upgrade my visual library by tackling this hand problem. It's rough. We're trying our best. I think that works. Not a huge fan of how it looks right now, but we'll deal. They actually made the tips of the fingers quite stubby, quite short. Like not as pointy. Cool. I don't have as much room as I wanted for the text. It may have to go like this, which I'm not fond of. think that works. The macro plot to get up to space stopped the source of invasion, but planet's defense systems were corrupted from within. Ah. I don't know why, but it just reminded me of Ender's Game. It's not really related at all, but I mean space, but that's about it. I think this needs to be lower. I need to be bold. I need to be brave. I think that'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. It's basically that part done. Cool. So yeah, now for this scene, it's gonna be like flat, which I don't like profile views as much, but whatever. It's gonna be text boxes over here. We need to figure out what the Puma dude is saying though. It's gonna be like I guess it would be like, why do you not smile? Is that just like a bird thing? Yeah. Because I want 2 bubbles there. I think that'll. Why do you never smile? Is that just like a bird thing? Yeah, okay. So yeah, Gravel's gonna be sitting on the chair. Need to sharpen a little bit more. Slouching. What's up, Naya? Guess I gotta build him from ground up. Let's see, the pose he's doing. It's like, so he was just here, he's turned around. So we're actually gonna be seeing like This thing here, this thing here. Something like that. Huge. Gotcha, gotcha. Head too big. Keep drawing the head way too big. I think also a big part of making comics, not that I'm good at it, but just reading other comics. Look at their paneling. I mean, you absorb it after a while, right? Like that stuff comes kind of ingrained, and then like when you imagine stuff, if you imagine things in that way, then you'll passively absorb the way those people did it, and that's like barring those with aphantasia. I don't know just the cognitive process of what that's like, imagining things and like parsing together drawings with aphantasia, but I would imagine it's probably a similar process. Drew his feet too big. Oops. So what's going on? Still the same comic, just chilling. Working on the next panel. First panel is like, Puma guy being like, yo, gravel. And you'd be like, what? Getting scared. Uh, and then now he's talking to Gravel and says, Gravel, do you just not smile or is that like a bird thing? And then the next panel, Gravel will smile and it will be very creepy and gross. Yo, Bear, what's up? YouTube Bear. Holy moly. How's it going, YouTube Bear? Don't tell Twitch Bear you're here or another fight's gonna happen, okay? Twitch Bear's like super territorial. Ah, I got you. Germa gif. There's a Germa gif. I'm not up to date with the lore. I'm a fake fan, dude. How's it going, Bear? You having a good day so far? So freaking hot. It's actually rather cold for me today, so I apologize. I gave all the warm air to wherever you are. It's my bad. So yeah, this one's gonna say, why do you never smile? Is it just like a bird thing? Why do you never smile? Gotcha. Stream's gonna end quite soon, so if I don't see ya, I hope you have a good one. Is it just like a bird thing? Is it like a bird thing? Yeah, a bird thing. Is it like a bird thing? Yeah, okay, I think that. We're making a comic. It's a Puma dude uh, interrupting Gravel while he's drawing and saying, yo, Gravel, why do you not smile? Is it like a bird thing? And then Gravel does the creepy smile thing that I drew like a long time ago. And it's going to be epic and awesome. Is it like a bird thing? No, you're fine, you're fine. Deranged streamer. So this one will go to like right here. I'm gonna like overlap the bubbles, so it kind of makes you feel like they're two separate sentences yet part of the same thing. Maybe. I don't know how comics work. That's kind of Just a few people stop after lesson 5. I'm like, but this lesson is where you really get that three-dimensional sense. And animal construction is way better feeling than before. Oh, gotcha. I don't know. I feel like I got a lot of 3D sense from lesson 4 and 5, and so far in lesson 6, I haven't felt the same. But then again, I'm not like all the way through it, so. Okay, timer about to hit 0. I gotta do something, so I'll leave early. Have a good comic time. Thank you very much, Bear. And thank you for stopping by. Very kind. It's about to hit 0. So yeah, we got like 3 minutes. And I feel like that statement just kind of implies like people who stopped at lesson 5 didn't get everything. Like, yeah, I guess they didn't get everything out of Drawbooks, but maybe they got what they needed, right? And they're not like necessarily lacking in a sense. Because like for lesson 5 specifically, being able to drape forms representing like muscles and stuff on top of each other required like a really tough mental intersection problem that helped me like really visualize 3D space. And then the exercises that like broken draws and Zeph draws promote, I feel like those further extended my 3D vision, if that's a good way to put it. Cool, cool. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Pretty fun little part of the comic. I need to sharpen my pencil more to get more fine lines, but then again, this is just the undersketch, so who cares that much? So yeah, we're gonna call it there, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Oh, Bennett left it. Yeah, nothing really to report on. We're gonna be hopefully streaming tomorrow, which is Friday, Saturday, and then probably not Sunday. Yeah, no Sunday, and then we'll be back on Monday, hopefully. Foresight in lesson 6 and 7 helps plan out where they. Yeah, probably that. That's probably. I mean, lesson 6 helps you, so who knows the real reason? But hey, that's a really good reason. So, yep. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining MCal, Bear Mug, Naya. I think that was everybody. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, already said the stream schedule. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now. I forgot to do the stream end screen last stream. Then it doesn't really matter. But yeah, anyways, see you guys.